Major Age of Calamity spoilers ahead. You've been warned. Alright, it's finally time to play some Age of Calamity. Huh, that's weird. Man, they really did a good job with the fighting in the game. The combat is so smooth. Oh man. I'm sure everything will be okay. Just enjoy the game and all will be fine. No, they are the ones who are wrong. The timeline is gonna stay intact. Many hours later.
May the light shine upon you for all time.
Welp, I guess it's time to panic. Oh. So yeah, I was wrong. And the timeline is basically in shambles with the definite split that occurred in Age of Calamity. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I just need to get my thoughts out since I basically made a previous video stating that there was no need to panic. And well, after that ending, there's a definite need to panic. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed every second of Age of Calamity, and I still need to go back to finish some of the side quests, and with talks of DLC, I'm nowhere done with this game. However, that ending sure does leave a lot of questions in the air. We are still not sure whether Age of Calamity is canon or not, and hopefully that does get clarified sooner than later. But from here on out, let's assume that this is canon. What does this mean for the future of Zelda games? And most importantly, what does the second timeline split mean for Breath of the Wild 2? But before we answer these questions, I'm going to quickly share my thoughts on the ending. Alright, so Link defeats Ganon, Zelda seals Ganon, everybody's happy, the successors of the champions return to their timeline/dimension. Oh, and Eggy is back. Yay! So after that ending of Age of Calamity, the only thing that still remains a little iffy to me is that after Ganon is sealed, is there still a dormant Ganondorf somewhere underneath the Kingdom of Hyrule, as seen in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer? Only time and or a little speculation will tell. So yeah, everyone is happy, but they are completely unaware that the champions were going to die in their fight against the Blights. I mean, look at the mix of emotions on Titan's face when Mipha tells her not to worry. Yes, he is glad to have seen her once more, but he doesn't have the heart to tell her that this will be the last time he sees her. So with that being said, the successors don't seem to be traveling to a future in which the champions are successful. They are traveling to their future where the champions and Hyrule fall to Ganon, adding an extra dimension to Eggy's power. Get it? Dimension? Because time travel and space and, you know. Anyways, so yeah, Eggy or Terraco is back, and that could potentially mean more time travel for future Zelda games. Again, when it comes to time travel speculation, anything can happen. So you know what, let me know what your wildest predictions are for future games, before I go and make a fool of myself for trying to predict what Aonuma has in store for us. So here are the options that I believe we could see. And again, we aren't sure whether Age of Calamity is canon or not, but for the sake of this video, let's say it is. Eggy, or Terraco, as he is actually named, is alive, or should I say operational, and doing well. So even though the timelines are split, our little egg guardian Terraco could still intertwine them to some extent. For all we know, Robbie and Pura could have amped the powers that Terraco has to the point of converging both timelines. As insane as that sounds, that would actually be pretty cool to see. To further prove this point, in Age of Calamity we did see several elemental enemies with Sonai hieroglyphics on them, much like the one seen in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. So, although far-fetched, I will not rule out the possibility of an intertwined timeline. Yes, it does sound crazy. I sound crazy. But crazy is what we have. I think by this point we have thrown all reason out the window. Pretty much anything is game, and this could be a possibility. Unless the unimaginable happens. Something that would make Zelda fans even angrier than when Nintendo said Age of Calamity was going to show us in detail the events of what happened 100 years ago. I'm talking about Nintendo just off the bat deciding to make Breath of the Wild 2 Age of Calamity 2. This would explain as to why we saw some enemies in Age of Calamity with the same inscriptions found in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. Or should I say, Age of Calamity 2 trailer. Yes, Nintendo said the game is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, but hey, a lot can change in a year, especially a year like this one. This, however, seems very unlikely to happen in my opinion. The reason being is that I remember hearing when Breath of the Wild DLC was announced that Aonuma and his team had so many leftover ideas from Breath of the Wild, which were not even used for the DLC. This tells me that the team already had the idea for Breath of the Wild 2 since even before the release of Breath of the Wild. But again, I'm not ruling out Breath of the Wild 2 now being Age of Calamity 2. For all we know, Miyamoto could have gone into Aonuma's office and been like, Aonuma, we are now making Breath of the Wild 2 into Age of Calamity 2. And don't ask me why. And Aonuma was like, that's weird, boss. But you the boss. Again, highly unlikely, but I'm a new man, open to new ideas. The direction that I believe future Zelda games will follow is that the Age of Calamity story ends there. Its timeline finishes. There will be no more games that follow those events. All future Zelda games will follow the timeline in which the champions and the majority of Hyrule perish. Yes, the events of Age of Calamity are canon and did occur, but they stay contained in their own time and dimension. Stories will be told about the events that occurred in its alternate time through the tales of the successors, which they witnessed firsthand. I can honestly see all future installments in the series following Breath of the Wild. What makes me so sure of this, look at me talking with certainty. What makes me believe this is that the end of both games are practically the same. Yes, Breath of the Wild ends with more destruction and death, but in the end, what really matters is whether Ganon is sealed or not. The stories of a triumphant Hyrule that happened in an alternate time will be told, and as the centuries go by, they will grow to be legend. But the future games will stay within the timeline of Breath of the Wild. And by me throwing this out in the universe is going to make sure it doesn't happen. Or will it? When we get more info on Breath of the Wild 2, many of these questions and concerns will possibly be answered. Like many, I was hoping to see something announced at the Game Awards, but since that didn't happen, we're going to have to wait till next year for the big Zelda 35th anniversary. And man, is there a lot of hype for that. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave behind a like, and if you'd like to further support the channel, be sure to subscribe. I'm Ace Monkey, have a great day, and thanks for watching.